Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Blitzkrieg Battle number 3, a weekly series here from the Plays.gg on the EU side of things. We are live with the round of 16, and then we'll be doing playoffs. I am Dust, with me is Vince, and our first game is going to be Article 51 taking on Imperio. And Article 51's featuring a couple of different players this time around, it looks like.
Yeah, dipping into their pool of players. Ono has discussed this before, but obviously this is the first time in the Blitzkrieg battles that we would have seen Blackout and both Trigger playing. Now, if Trigger's the same player I'm thinking of, he's a German player, back COD 2, COD 4, decent. Blackout as well, does very much play alongside the other guys being UK-based. So, I mean, I'm sure they've played a bunch together. I'm sure they've got some basic strats down. But again, it just comes into that whole idea of, is there going to be much cohesion there? Because when you have different players in each game, it makes you think, like, do they have set tactics? Is it just very generalized stuff they're going to be playing with?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like when we've watched Article 51 play their games throughout these Blitzkrieg battles, it seems like they have been pretty heavily reliant upon just like kind of individual playmaking, you know, whether one of their scopes is finding picks or whether it be someone like Duffer who just goes absolutely mental with an SMG and like just gets super aggressive and gets in the back lines of his opponent and just does like these crazy antics, basically, is really the way to put it. And even if you talk to the Article 51 guys, like I've spoken to Ano and Duffer a little bit on Steam and stuff, just kind of, you know, picking their brains, and they'll even admit to you, they're like, yeah, right now we don't even really have a fifth, and we don't really have any tactics, or like we have a few nades that we know how to use, but in reality we're not there yet. You know, right now we're just kind of still feeling out the game, still trying to, you know, get our team put together, so to speak, one that they want to compete with consistently. The thing is, like, Blackout's been like on their roster, so to speak, like ever since the first Blitzkrieg battle. But this is the first time he's actually played. You know, they've been using, obviously Blackman usually is playing, and then like I think what they used Fantasy last tournament, and then before that they had another different fifth in the first Blitzkrieg battle. They played in a couple other online cups as well, so I think it's just more of them trying to kind of figure out, you know, the who, what, when, and where still of their team.
Yeah, first week they were playing with Lighters, who is one of the better UK players from COD 4. Used to play with Reason alongside a lot of these guys. Also played for Fnatic for a while, if memory serves me correctly. So, I mean, very, very good player. But I think it ultimately comes down to commitments. Having spoke to a couple of the guys as well, it seems like work commitments are a bit of an issue, and getting the right five on at the right time is a bit of a problem right now. But
right.
I guess that's kind of the case when you start off in your game, you know, when there aren't like massive prize pools available. The certain players have just got other things to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Looks like we are going to be going live for the first round, though, and it is going to be Article 51 starting out on the Allied side, playing up to Imperio, which is a team that I don't really know anything about. We hadn't seen them play in the previous Blitzkrieg battles or anything like that, so not really sure what to expect from them. But we will see, as we are going to see the Allies trying to make that crossover to the side, obviously delayed through those set nades at middle that we're familiar with. But Blackout, he's already made it in the broken building and clearing out B. Seems like a retake B setup from Imperio. No, it's actually inside the site.
Yeah, very passive play for the time being, but Dom's going to go in for the first kill onto a Trigger, so that's at least going to alleviate some of the pressure, forcing the allies to just go straight onto the site and get the bomb planted. There's going to be no faking shenanigans, and that's the reason why you try and fake to draw out those nades, but Duff has gone in and claimed himself 2 scalps with his SMG, as ever. A monster with this gun. That leaves Dom all on his own now as 50's gone down. He's going to be moving through into the broken house, about to get spotted from the carbine of Ono, and will be dispatched. So a solid first round for the Allies.
Good old stealing of the ace from Ano there in the end. Duffer looked like he was on for 5 kills for sure. If he would have been given a chance at that guy broken building, you think he would have gotten it. And really, the only thing that went well in that round for Imperio was that aggression from Doam with the scope up middle, able to push towards tank, kind of catch someone in the backside, and then kind of fall back. It was a good early pick, but then Duffer, he just pushes that back doorway of that B bomb site, able to shut down any type of retake effort, essentially, as they were given the site for free, as we were kind of discussing earlier. No retake really working out there for Imperio. Blackout basically going for the same exact thing here, pushing Broken very early. I think Spy did actually push to Heaven this time, though.
Yeah, did get into Heaven, so this time nowhere near as passive as before, and it's worked out pretty well. Imperio with 2 kills, taking control of Broken Wall, and also from the barrels. Router's going to come around the corner on Trigger. We'll get an even trade, but that's not going to be good enough for the Allies. At this point, they need to be getting 2-for-1s. That leaves Ono and Duffer, who are 2 incredibly prolific players, and Duffer has already shown himself to be one of the better players that we've cast in these Blitzkrieg battles. But he's dead, of course. The Caster's Curse is real, alive, and well. And Ono, 1-on-4 with just a carbine and no nades to go alongside it. He spots himself one, but of course gives his position away. The only good news is he has control of the bomb, but that is just not going to be the case any longer. 1-1. Good comeback by Imperio.
Yeah, kind of a four-man stack on the B bomb site that time, so certainly putting a little bit more emphasis on defending B, as well as just making sure they got into the site, you know, getting Spy up into heaven, pushing short, kind of getting in the face of Article 51, not giving them that free space to work with this time around. So definitely a different look from Imperio, and it certainly panned out well in that situation. We'll have to see if that can keep up. We do have Socklin with the scope in his hands. I think that's one of the first time we've really seen a scope come out here from the Allied side, so we'll see what Socklin can do with it. He was the kind of the main attacking sniper for this team in previous tournaments, so not surprised to see it.
Well, once again, they've gone heavy onto B, and they are going to get stopped in their tracks by Imperio. However, the aforementioned sniper is going to come good for a kill, and that puts Imperio onto their back foot. Oh, the STG spray down from 50 is solid, picking himself up too, and does even the odds. With over a minute still to play with, there is a chance for the Allies to play some mind games with the Axis and try and get them rotating so many times they spin themselves out. But Socklin is just going to be holding down mid with his sniper rifle, making sure that if anyone peeks, they're going to get punished. He has control of the bomb, though. It's very important he doesn't die.
Absolutely. Him and Ano are a little bit split up right now. Ano actually getting into that B bomb site through lower cinema. He'll find out soon that no one's actually there, and this could prompt Socklin to go ahead and shift that bomb over. As Doam has, you know, really got to respect the fact that A could still be an option. As doesn't really have any information on the alt, middle, or long doorway, so he's got to stay here in Graveyard and defend. Cold, in the meantime, kind of just sitting in spawn, but they should be knowing soon the spawn is planning. They'll start hearing it. Cold will make the call. Now they'll try to see if they can make this retake work.
Bomb goes down without any bloodshed. Not bothering to fake again to draw the nades out. Cold. So 35 seconds now to get back onto the site. Oh no, a beautiful jumping headshot. It could very well secure the round, but now Cold comes through with a shotgun and will connect in midair. And as beautiful as that one tap was, it ultimately is for nothing, as Imperial will retake their site and get their second round on the board.
Yeah, the shotgun at close range is so deadly to deal with in that particular situation. Great effort by Ano, as you said, but just not quite enough. Suffered a lot of early casualties. I mean, Blackout's definitely been pretty relentless in all these early rounds so far, just pushing Broken Building as quickly as possible. That time he kind of got shut down. It was a good follow-up, though, from his team, but it was that flank from 50 at A is really what kind of brought it back into, you know, Imperio's court and gave him a chance to win it in the 2-on-2, and they do get the job done. Now we'll have to see what the adjustment's going to be here. Looks like just being delayed at middle still, the fear of the set nades are there, and now they will cross late towards Cinema, but Doam's scope does find Blackout. Duffer trying to make a move by himself here in alt mid, though, it looks like.
Yeah, I feel as we move into the fourth round, Doam's got the opening pick twice already with this sniper rifle, so it could be an issue that Article 51 have got to plug over. Add to that Cold has taken top of cinema control. This is already looking pretty ominous for the Allies. There's not many angles they can afford to go through. Trigger's stuck in Broken House. Bomb just behind him in the hands of Socklin, but they really have no control, and it just got a whole lot worse as Duffer's been plucked out on the flank.
Yeah, it's a bit of a default spread here from the Allied side and just got shut down on all fronts. I mean, their mid-pick goes awry. Ano gets caught in upper cinema. Duffer tries to go for an individual effort up alt mid into the church. He gets caught by a player in spawn. So it's just one of those things where they kind of spread, maybe looking to work picks, and basically got shut down on all fronts. And Imperio now starting to get the ball rolling. I think, they've won the last 3 rounds in a row now, so definitely starting to get a little bit of momentum.
Eight and 1 is Cold's. Impressive start by him. Although Doam's got a lot of the opening picks. 8 and 1 Cold's definitely taking the plaudits with his MP40. He's going to be moving into top cinema. This time Doam's not going to get the opening pick. There isn't a sniper rifle to counteract him either. Ally's not bothering with that this time around on Socklin, who did get a kill when he had one before. Here comes the fast push onto A. This time Doam is going to miss his shot. Has to pull back. Beautiful flick though onto Socklin mid-air. And that's going to alleviate some of the pressure. Had he have gone down, this A site would have been ripe for the taking. But with him still alive, it's allowing the rest of the Axis to pivot their way around onto the site. Blackout's got one of his own. He's going to come under fire from the bar, and Cole puts him down. Lays him to rest in the graveyard. Quite apt. And now Ono Another clutch scenario befalls him, and it's not going to happen. 4-1. Imperio, after going 1-0 down, have been on a flurry of rounds.
Yeah, it really just comes to the fact that Doan with this scope has been so good at finding like a mid pick, or if there's nothing there, he'll kind of shift position. And he found the opening in that round again with that scope. As well as just good positioning in spawn here from Imperio, kind of catching everyone wrapping around Graveyard. To be fair, they kind of just threw bodies one by one out there. It was first Blackout trying his luck, and then Ano went out later. They weren't really in positions to trade off of each other that time around on Article 51, so just a little bit easier duels at that point for Imperio to manage. And they will shift their focus back over here to the B side of the map after the little bit of a delay. Now they're making their way into a split through Cinema and Short, but a set nade comes in on the trigger. So they're already a man down on this attack, and Imperio's getting aggressive in upper Cinema.
Cole is going to catch Duffer with his pants down, and Ono's been spotted too. So once again, although the allies are on the site, because they have upper control on Cinema, this round is going to be so difficult for the allies to get anything from. Even kills at this point would be a bit of a success. Down goes Softwon, forced into an aggressive angle. Blackout has gone into cold. They've now alleviated the top Cinema control, and they have a lot of time to play with. So this is where things start to become more possible, Dust.
Yeah, Sockland's also pushed the players out of sight and into their spawns. This does give him space to get in. The problem is as soon as Sockland goes for a bomb plant, Imperio effectively know they have a 3v1 duel on their hands, and they could just push in together. So that's why you're going to probably see a lot of tapping at the bomb, trying to bait people out, trying to get some information. Spy was spotted by Sockland, but Sockland unable to land the shot anyway. So now it's all on Blackout.
There's a hell of a jump shot as well with the cart, and Spy can stay in position. He can hear footsteps on the site. They also have a nade as well, by the way, in hands of Spy. What? Blackout? Hello?
Get bodied.
Good old shotgun, just wrecking everybody. On the problem now for 50 is he's just facepalming. He's like, guys, I went for this long flank, this lurk to stop the bomb getting planted, and now I'm way out of position. This bomb plant is going to go down, and I don't think 50 can get him on the exit either. So now Blackout in a position that he could very well clutch this. He's going to snap to the head of 50, but 50 is too quick on the trigger himself. And Imperio, I mean, fair play, Blackout. That's some serious heroics, but it just wasn't enough.
Yeah, he tapped the bomb to draw people to actually push into the site and was able to line up some close range shots with that shotgun again, its most effective position, and melts through, gets into A, but 50 had a pretty fast rotate. I mean, he was basically at church as soon as Blackout finished the plant, and then you basically have an STG that's now buffed against the default class rifle to Gewere, and he was, you know, pretty easily able to put that down. So another round does go the way of Imperio. Now up 5-1. They are really putting the heat onto Article 51, one of the teams that are usually favored to make deep runs. Last time they made it to the quarterfinals, losing to the Albino Cats in like a quadruple overtime game. So losing in round of 16 this time would be a bit of a disappointment.
What I would say, though, is, and we've seen this in prior Blitzkrieg events, that Article 51 do struggle on the allied side. They're very solid on the Axis side. So I think if they can get 4 or 5 rounds, they should still be golden. That's a hell of a shot by Soklon mid-air. I feel like 50 will be disappointed he didn't get more from his position just behind the pillar on Church. Now the bomb will get planted as a result. Out comes Soklon, but again, Doam on point with his sniper rifle. He's been found and will get fragged. And it brings us back into an even occasion with Spy and Router just trying their best to retake. Trigger down to 4, but somehow still alive and kicking. Will be able to regen back to full, or will he? Yes, he will. Spy gets plucked out from point-blank range, and Imperio, close, but no cigar. This time, Article 51 come out ahead in the clutch.
Yeah, just a little bit of a pacing change, getting onto that A-bomb side really quickly. Also big to just kind of limit Doam's impact. He's usually been able to multi-frag with that scope throughout most of these rounds, but that time they were able to kind of really put the pressure on him at Graveyard, limit him to just 1 kill. And then in the 2v2, just played well to hold off any type of retake effort. So they do get that second round on the board. Soklin will be back on the scope as a response. Blackout has been able to cross over to Grey House, so he'll be able to get the B pretty quickly. Duffer will be following him up. Kind of a 1-2 punch with the SMGs, but that set nade from Trigger's the one who actually gets the entries.
Yeah, that's massive, and now it forces Spy away into tickets. They have to play more passive. They do have a nade in the hands of Spy, but he's in no position to throw that and stop the planet from going down. So it's going to be 2 smokes on the retake. Blackout with a solid smoke, though, is going to cordon off arches, allows him to reposition. And at this point, the Axis has so many angles and so many corners that they have to cover on their approach back in. I wouldn't be surprised if we see them just save here, honestly. Just keep. They've got a sniper rifle, they've got a rifle, and an STG. These are pretty valuable cards. Yeah, they're just piecing out. They know there's no chance.
It's one of those situations where sometimes one nade can just decide around. Like, some of these set nades can be very brutal and just very unforgiving. You know, if you happen to run into one, you lose multiple players right off the bat. You're instantly in a 5v3, you know, 5v4, whatever situation, and you're already fighting an uphill battle before the battle's even really started. And Imperio, like you said, trying to now just recover as best they can by trying to retain some cards. One of them did fall. They do still get to keep 3. Now we're starting to see Article 51 heat up a little bit here on this allied side. And again, the other big thing you have to think about with set nades is not only can they get you frags, but they can just slow down timings, which is something you see constantly on this map in particular, slowing down allies from crossing mid towards B. We've definitely seen that happen in Article 51 on a few occasions, which allowed Imperio to push upper cinema and like really put pressure on them and deny space. That's been how they lost a lot of their early rounds. This time Imperio, though, going to be doing the set nading over into spawn and gets a kill.
Yeah, and as you highlighted, you can see how much this is slowing them down. Short blackout now in Broken House alongside Duffer. Are in position, and that nade is definitely going to help things out on their approach. It's spinning the pack on the site. The Spy is able to get one before he shut down. But again, the even trade should favor the allies. The downside, though, is there is a player in the form of Cold who's in cinema. They haven't caught that off just yet. And to make matters worse now for the Axis, Doam's gone down to the hands of Blackout, but Cold is going to be able to peek up, get himself the kill. Bomb, I believe, was dropped out on the site as well, so it means one of the allies is going to have to go and reclaim that. But 50's gone down from behind, and that could be the determining factor. Cold still in cinema, snaking his way into upper. He is going to land the kill, but more importantly, the bomb's been dropped once again, Dust.
And Blackout unable to get the trade. He was definitely angled up to be able to get that kill right back on the Cold as Cold peaked to heaven, but was just missed by a hair. That's giving Cold the 1v1, and the clock is ticking. The pressure is on Blackout to make a move as he does scope out the cinema. The long con being played by Cold, though. He's going to give up the bomb and let Blackout grab it and go for it, perhaps, but he's going to try to flank all the way around. Blackout may get caught in the back as he butch broken himself. And there it is, the flank from Cold. The long con winds up working quick instead. Now it is going to be 6-3 in favor of Imperio, still maintaining that lead.
I really like that flank, though, because with such low time left, like 20-25 seconds, the last ally's not going to be looking around to the back of cinema. He's either going to be trying to force the bomb towards the A site, just go for the straight up rotation and try and, you know, bamboozle the Axis, or he's going to go back to the site and check something like cinema or heaven. So really like that play by Cold, and I mean, he's 15-4, Dust. The guy is far and away top ranked on this server right now.
Yeah, it's been really him and Doam's scope that seem to have the most impact on the defense thus far, but now we do see Article 51 looking to go back for that fast A play. They've had success with this in the past, but the rotation's already on here from Imperio. They have 3 players in the area, but can they actually defend? Doam's scope will be guarding the front. Duffer, though, has got an entry.
Huge opening pick by Duffer. You can see already A is crumbling. Blackout is going to be able to lock off the mid side of Church. Cold is going to come back with one of his own, though. He's keeping the dream alive. Doam trying to spam through the smoke with his sniper, and very nearly lands himself a kill, actually. Wasn't far off at all on that. Needs to be careful. Close right pillar. We'll see an ally waiting for him. Blackout is that man. Router, in the meanwhile, from Church on the graveyard, is going to be trying to spam himself some kills. Spy and Blackout trade. 23 seconds left. 6 players remain, 3 on each side. But Soklon's gone down, and now it's up to Blackout and Duffer to pick up the pieces. Cold goes in for another kill. It's all down to Blackout. How much time can he waste? 9 health remaining. He's playing ring around the rosy, but he's going to get picked out, and there's enough time to defuse. Cold's done it again. And that's going to be 7-3 on the score.
10 rounds played. Cold has 18 kills, almost like 2 kills per round at this point. So he's definitely made his presence known in this game. Very good retake there from Imperio. They were patient. They didn't seem panicked. They were peeking together. They were making sure they were trading. They were attacking from multiple angles, making it as difficult as possible on the communication going on at Article 51 to defend against that retake. Some credit to Article 51 for getting into the site and Duff for getting that entry. I mean, they definitely shifted gears, decided they didn't want to be bothered by those set nades at mid anymore, wanted to do something else, work fast on A, were successful in their attack, but again, just could not hold off the coordinated retake from Imperio. And now Imperio had the 5-on-4 instantly in this round, and they're again able to get that early aggression into cinema.
It's going to be frustrating for Article 51. There's been a number of rounds that could have easily gone their way. Doam's back down to 9. Of course, no way for Duffer to know that, but Doam, hanging by a thread, will now be able to regenerate. Doam, I say regenerate, into a shotgun blast. That's going to take him out of the equation. But still, the Axis do retain the player advantage.
In fact, the two players are still in heaven right now for Imperio. Really puts the pressure on Blackout to make a play to try to break them out of this containment, so to speak. Ano gets caught as well now inside the site, and Blackout on the fallback has been ripped apart, and it just crumbles all around Article 51. Again, that's just a situation where they're trying to go for an attack over towards the B-bombs, but they just lose so much ground. I mean, they're absolutely completely contained. I mean, there's people are pushing them cinema. They can't really get away from that. They're not able to get into spawn either with Blackout's push. So, yeah, they're just stuck.
They sure are. I just got kicked out of the server, by the way. So
all of us did. So we're gonna be getting back in as soon as possible. We we did not deserve for wrecked, Vince.
Well, it was 8-3 when we left. So obviously, last round of the half coming up.
I'm hoping that the players didn't also get kicked from the server. We'll see though.
Yes, they did.
That would be poor.
But I just got back.
Yep,
into the
everyone
server
did.
And everyone's out. So.
Yep. Did not deserve for wrecked. Vince.
Reasonable.
What was the score? 8-3.
It was 8-3, but the problem
So
is...
we only had one round left to play.
Yeah,
You hate
the
to
problem
see it.
comes in now that because of the card situation, I don't know what to do now.
I think, unfortunately, what has to be done is you just play one more round, and that's just how it is, I guess.
Yeah. I guess the players, the admins and such will be figuring out amongst themselves as to what goes on now.
Are they playing out this round? Like, is this it? I'm confused. 4-on-3. It seems like they're playing it out. Maybe we just didn't see everyone in, and they've been playing this whole time. I don't know. It's really weird.
Oh, they're already in. Okay, so I guess this is actually live.
It was just us. Okay. Well,
Okay, nice
sorry
plug.
we didn't bring you any coverage this round. We had no idea what was going on. But as you can see, the 2v1.
Yes, indeed. It's Doam against Soklon, and oh no, 20 seconds left. Bomb is going to get planted by Soklon, who now scurries away into cinema to take some upper control for himself. Doam's hoping that somebody goes walkies out of Broken House, but that's not going to be the case. And now we're in a position where really this is a must-win round, I would say. I'd said about 3 or 4 rounds should be good enough for Article 51, but of course, if they get that 4th round, I think it does give them a massive boost of confidence going through into the second half. They've consistently been very good on Derailed on Axis. So this would be a huge blunder if they let this one slip, and Ono's not going to let it happen. So we will be going to the second half at 8-4.
Indeed. So pretty dominant defense there from Imperio, to say the least. Really didn't see a whole lot of success coming out there. I mean, obviously there were some rounds that were pretty close. You know, you think back to that one round, I think it was the last round we saw before we crashed out and had to rejoin, where, you know, you had full control of Church, had the bomb down, had the opening pick on the round thanks to Duffer's entry, and then just wound up losing in a 4-on-5 retake situation. And there were a couple other times like that. But I think the constant trend really did just feel like Imperio suffocated them on the B side of the map constantly. Never really felt like they could safely attack that site. Now that things will flip, though. We'll see what can Imperio do on their attack. Can they go ahead and finish this thing off and move on to the quarterfinals and get that upset and, you know, knock Article 51 out of the tournament a little bit earlier than anticipated, as we'll be restarting this half here in just a second.
Yeah, one of the players dropped on the side of Article 51, so Soklon instantly called for the pause. I think it's getting a bit confusing between the two teams, but yeah, they're not playing this one out. Obviously, from the positions you can see, we are going to have a restart. Fortunately for us, though, it is the second half anyway, so they can just go for a full-on restart and have no issues. And yeah, I mean, Soklon called that in the pause time at the beginning, the buy time, if you will. So it definitely should have been a pause. They called it in time.
Indeed. So again, thanks everyone for joining us. This has been the 3rd Blitzkrieg battle here from the Plays GG. It is a weekly tournament series for Europe every Saturday. Vince and I have covered all of them so far, and it looks like we'll be continuing with that. Next Saturday there'll be another Blitzkrieg battle, and it's just a weekly thing, so you can't even sign up if you want your team to compete in the next one. Again, you got to be quick, though. It's kind of first come, first serve. Once it fills up, it's done. Not much you can do about it. So And except for wait for the next one. So again, make sure you do check out the Plays GG website. All the information down below to go check that out. I think NA will eventually be getting some tournaments as well from Blitzkrieg Battle. I think that's going to be like a Sunday thing, but I'm not sure when that starts. I think they're still trying to work on setting that up. So just thought I would let you folks know.
Yeah, still waiting for Article 51. I was getting kind of amused and entertained by the chat and game. I don't know if you can see it, Dust. It's pretty epic.
Oh, yeah, it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Good times.
This chat's too much, man. Can they see it on stream?
What's that?
It's unreasonable as hell, man. Duff is just going ham for no reason at all.
That is just the Duffer way of things, though. I've had the privilege of speaking to the man privately on Steam a couple of times, and it's always a good time.
I can't handle it.
I can't anymore either. That's just awesome. Oh, man.
I think it's on what we're waiting for, by the way, for those of you curious. Can't really do any of the restarts or anything until Ono's here anyway, so gotta wait for him.
Hate to see it. Oh, man. So anyway, still have a delay going on as we figure out Ano's situation. Again, appreciate all of you for tuning in. Since it is weekly, do hit the follow button on Twitch if you haven't already, so you can catch the rest of this tournament and future ones here from the plays. Also, if you don't mind giving Vince and myself a follow, I think there's a command in chat. If you do like !casters, it'll give you links to our Twitters. But it's basically follow Dust and On Fire Vince. If you're enjoying the commentary, please give us a follow as well. We're still kind of figuring out how to commentate this game. Again, this is like our what, third or fourth kind of, because we did a show match. I guess this is our fourth broadcast together, both coming from Counter-Strike. Obviously, Vince used to go by the name of Metis and did some COD forecasting back in the day, so he's a little bit more familiar with this type of game than myself, but I'm still learning, and we're still trying to figure it out, so obviously constructive criticism is also welcome.
Yeah, indeed. It's been quite a while, though, since COD forecasting days. I think it's been at least 5 or 6 years now. Pretty mad.
Oof. That's long.
Still no sign of Ono. Feels bad, man. So, Dusty, you were telling me before that there's a couple of the big teams that aren't taking part this week. I think you said Penta aren't.
Yeah, Penta are not. Froster's actually in chat, talking with us. And then the Twitch chat. But I think Cinda and Replin are playing on like a Finnish mixed team called 8D. I'm not sure if they. I think they're still in it. I think they're in the round 4 right now, waiting on an opponent. So could still see some familiar faces from the Penta team in that 8D team a little bit later on in the playoffs if all goes well. Other than that, obviously Article 51 we're covering right now. And then the Bang, the team that's made the finals, both Blitzkrieg battles prior to this, lost to Ocelots in the first one, 0-2, lost 1-2 to Penta in the finals of the last Blitzkrieg battle. But neither of those teams are around now, so maybe this is perhaps the Bang's chance to finally get themselves a title. Also, there's a new team, but not new. Remember that team that had like Sloan and Japecki and all those guys? Can't remember what team name they were going by, but now they've been picked up by an organization called New Ricky. It's like a Finnish organization, and they have a full Finnish team. So it's another team that might be interesting to watch.
Oh, Sloan was E2 from COD 2, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And I think Japecki played for, in the first Blitzkrieg event, he played for a different team. And then he was playing for the team with Sloan.
Mm-hmm. So that team got picked up by an org called New Ricky, like a Finnish org, so they're in this. And then there's like a mixed team called Dominators that's playing that has like Reflexer and I think Aerox and a couple other guys that are playing up against New Ricky actually in the round of 16. as we're doing this one. So there's still some familiar faces out there for sure. But yeah, no, a couple of the full lineups we've seen in the previous tournaments are not here. As I think Ocelot's actually disbanded, so forever rest in peace, Ocelots. All it took was one best of one apparently, and that was a GG.
I mean, I heard some...
Gone but not forgotten, Ocelots.
I heard some sort of juicy gossip information from Dito, a guy I used to play with, which I'm not going to mention here because it's kind of personal. Yeah, nice blue balls, information there. But yeah, apparently there's some personality clashes.
Okay.
Let's leave it there within the team. So
yeah, you kind of figure with the team that's been playing together for so long, there was probably a little bit more going on there than just losing that one best of one in the Blitzkrieg battle number 2 that caused them to have issues. But hopefully some other players will continue on, because obviously we saw guys like Alzoy and S. Walker in particular who certainly had some talent, and Jackus was a pretty solid SMG. So hopefully we'll see some other players kind of move on to other teams and still compete, because definitely there was some talent there.
Certainly was. Wouldn't be surprised if we see some of those players move on. But it is going to be the second half starting 8-4 if you've just joined us. And it was to the side of Imperio, who now shift across to the Allies. Oh, I think we have to restart again. Really.
Yep, seems that way. Does seem that way, doesn't it?
This time it's Imperio.
You hate to see it, Vince.
You do hate to see it, indeed.
You know what I would like to see? Some more of this game. Let's go.
Yep.
Hopefully we'll get it going here soon. Again, appreciate all of you for being patient with us, as we will be going straight into the quarterfinals as quickly as we can after this game, but I'm sure there's going to be a little bit of a break in between as we get set up. Other than that, I'm trying to think if there's anything else. Obviously, competitors got released.
Yes, sir.
Fuel Silver 3, man.
Yeah, S. Walker posted up that you got 8 and 2, and obviously a really solid player, and he got Silver 3. So, yeah, my expectations now are, if I get into Silver, I'll be happy.
Feels bad. I mean, if S. Walker's getting Silver 2, or Silver 3, what does that mean for the rest of us? I mean, I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like I'm, what, like Wood 5 then? You know, like not even hitting bronze at that point.
I feel like that's doable.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be real honest with you. So, I played some placement matches last night. I got absolutely carried by basically the entirety of the peer team from the NA scene that's like won everything in NA. So I was playing with like Lex, Grego, Fox Rocks. Basically, got carried.
Must feel nice to get carried to 2 wins.
Yeah.
I played 4.
To be fair, in the first game we played, I actually did outfrag Fox Rocks. So I wasn't doing too bad. Second game, on the other hand, though, let's not talk about it. Or maybe we can talk about it because looks like we're still waiting on this game to start. So we got time. You can talk about whatever you want.
Nope, we're starting.
Vince, your thoughts on pineapples on pizza?
They suck. Why would you do that to your pizza? Why would you desecrate a perfectly good food? Meanwhile, second half has started. This time, hopefully, it's going to be third time's a charm.
Mm-hmm.
That Imperial logo is pretty sick, actually. I just noticed it's like a gladiator's helmet. It's pretty
solid.
solid.
It's kind of like, God, what was that one organization from the Russian team that we used to see in CSGO and Dota 2 that had like a similar logo? Can't remember. Oh, that was helpful to the viewers. Really good insight. So here we go. Finally getting live in this round. Looks like Imperial looking for a quick attack here on B. They do have the opening pick, taking out Blackout, taking a page out of his book, being aggressive in the broken building and finding that opener.
Yeah, it's going to be a 1-1 trade though. However, with the bomb in the hands of Router, who is in broken with 2 of his teammates, this could get a bit sketchy for the Axis. The main man is going to be Duffer. He's up on top Cinema. If he falls, it's going to make this a lot easier, but Trigger's also making a flank round the side. He's moving past the tank of mid, and now he's going to be flanking 50. This is going to get really awkward real fast. Can 50 get a kill before dropping? No. And because Trigger hasn't actually shot, as far as they're aware, there's only one player in Cinema, and Imperio now going to go for the flank of their own. Trigger may have just bodied his team. Imperio have got a straight run straight to church and a bomb plant if they want it.
Yeah, they've bypassed all of that from Trigger, and that's really big. Like you said, they're going to get church for free. They're going to get a plant. Now, Sockland's actually watching spawn with Ano, so they're going to be at least aware of what's going on now. And Otto will actually be able to get into that window position and maybe even get some vision onto the side itself with the STG spamming through. Gets routed down to 20 HP, but the plant still does go down. And now the retake is on. And they have the man advantage to do it.
This is where there's a collective face bomb on the Axis. But as you say, player up on the Axis side. 30 seconds left to get on there, of course. About 7.5 seconds to defuse. So time itself is starting to run pretty dry. They're going to have to get in. And they're going to have to get in soon. And Router's going to have the back swipe onto Soklon. Probably should have got 2. But still, the Axis are dropping like flies. It's all on Spy. He's going to go down to Duffer. Does Duffer have enough time? Yes, he does. It's actually going to be Ono that gets the trade. I might overlay bugged. GG, well played. But all the same, it's going to be the round going to Article 51. 8-5 now the score.
Yes, indeed. We had to restart the server, so you won't get to see the total score, but that just means that commentators get to do on-the-fly math, which always works out really well for the broadcast and all the viewers involved.
Yeah,
and no mistakes are ever made.
Never, ever goes wrong.
Also, apparently Doam is like Gundam Wing stuff going on. His logo.
I don't even know what that means.
It's fine.
Wait. Mitch died?
Yeah, I think Mitch died for our sins. Mitch! Put that overlay up while you're playing around in game, mate. What are you doing? I think it was just he wanted to show you guys all the 6 settings that you guys need to be using if you're trying to be a professional player. Alright, well, I guess we're radio casting right now, Vince. Okay, never mind. He's back in. But there you go. Make sure you learn all those settings that Mitch Man showed you. They'll make you better at the game.
Meanwhile, the Allies have made a move on the again. Ono is going to hold down the fort with his MTG. And trade him out. He was low, able to replenish back up to 100. Soklon also on 5. He's not going to be finished off. So no chance of getting the bomb down for the time being. Ono with a second kill is doing so much work. And the pillar bench are giving him enough time to just keep popping up, having a couple of shots and going down again. He finally will get found out by the hands of Cold. He lands a shot in midair with a grab. No task whatsoever, but Blackout will mop up the rest. Ono, great effort in this round. Is pretty much going to secure the Axis on Article 51 in seconds. They'll move 8-6. Not enough time for Doam. Bit of last-ditch heroics. Maybe he can take a card or 2 away. Nice shot to Duffer. It's just the vet, and Soklon will take him down anyway. So there's going to be no sniper going through into the next round. 8-6 is score.
Indeed, so the comeback is a little bit real here right now from the Axis side over at Article 51, putting some rounds together. Now just 2 away from tying this thing right back up, and so we'll have to see what Imperio plan to do to try to see if they can't hold that off. As it looks like they are going to be putting a focus over towards the alt mid side. This round I got 4 people pushing that area. Rauda kind of the solo man over towards mid, throwing some nades, but now he'll join the rest of his team. It'll be Trigger and Soklon. Soklon actually going for a mid peek there. Not seeing anything though, really. Blackout, meanwhile, has pushed all the way through to the upper cinema of the Axis side and gotten a bunch of information files. Soklon and Duffer are on site.
Rauda with Starlight trying to get rid of Trigger. We'll get a shot eventually. Colton sniped him meanwhile. Rauda's going to take a shot through the doors, and he is also low. So again, the Allies focusing onto Church, onto the A site, but they're getting into position, but they're getting cleaned up afterwards. That is, Soklon has a good angle onto Rauda. He's really trying to bait that shot out and definitely wish for. So I'm saying let's get the Spy will strike, and it's just back and forth throughout. Down to a 2-on-2 with 40 seconds. Ono, Car, outside Church, joined by Blackout with an 1940, who's been incredibly strong with this gun.
And now they can just play the clock, and they have a 2-on-2. Everyone's in position. At some point, the bomb needs to be planted here by Imperio. To swing around with the MP40 with the low risk of being caught, and he'll deliver on it, and that does put it now to 8-7. So just one round away from tying this up, and that really just boils down to, because I think it was Blackout who pushed Cinema, able to get that early information. Also, Stockland was scoping middle, didn't really see anyone cross, so they were able to make that third man rotation over to A and have a real proper defense for that take. Did still come down to a 2v2 in the end, though, so we've seen a lot of close numbers battles throughout this game, but now it's on the winning end of most of them.
Yeah, I think a lot of that's down to them being on Axis side, as I talked about in the first half. Their Axis side has been far stronger than Derailed. It is going to be tough to see Allies come back into this. They haven't really gone B at all so far, so maybe this is the first time they've run it. Has got the opening pick. Blackout's a dead man. Oh no, has under control though. Spray one down and they too little too late. Another 2v2 falls upon us. How many of these have we had so far, Dust? That feels like 5 or 6.
Almost every round feels like it comes down to something like this. Had a couple of dominant rounds here and there in the first half, but yeah, a lot of close number situations, a lot of 3v3s and 2-on-2s. A lot of tense moments just like this one, as 50 trying to work with Doam here to see if they can get this bomb down. Trigger, though, is on the flank, and Sockland's just being patient and ticket, just waiting for them to make a move. 50 is going to go ahead and start going for that bomb plant. Sockland will not jump on this to allow the plant. He's just trying to give a little bit more time to Trigger to get in position.
It's also good bait out that he's not in ticket. They may assume that he's on a rotation around the back. But the other problem is he only has a sniper rifle. I think it's one of the main reasons he didn't even attempt.
Yeah, this is a natural fire.
And now 50 is going to take him down, and this is where on Trigger. He does get. But there goes 50, and I'm a bit curious as to why he expected the second player would be on Broken Wall. He got the kill to the guy on double doors, and it was 50 that actually got the opening pick in that 2-on-2. So maybe some poor communication. I'm not entirely sure, but finally Imperial will get back into winning ways. So that's 9-6. I think
that was just a nasty crossfire Imperio had in that hallway. I mean, anyone coming ticket was going to get wrecked. Also, anyone who tried to push through the double doors was also going to get wrecked. It's kind of a bait setup in that way. So just really good post-plant positioning for Imperio there. And you got to give them props on that one. They set themselves up to succeed and do pull it out. Now you see them just waiting out these set nades at middle. They will go for the late cross. They have a smoke up, so Sokka will not be able to get his scope out and really see anything. And this will allow Imperio to go ahead and start setting up for the attack at Broken and Short, as well as 50 trying to work in a cinema. Actually, no one from Article 51 used those set nades to actually push into cinema and gain ground. So usually you do see teams do that. I know they've delayed their opponent's middle, so they push cinema, aggressive, but not this time. They're actually playing kind of a retake setup, playing more towards their own spawn, and kind of giving up the site.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, never mind. Blackout is on top of this one thing.
What's this current system?
Bomb planet!
Getting a bomb plant doesn't really mean anything. You don't get any extra economy. It's all right. But, I mean, all 10 players still alive on a post-plant tomorrow. This could get really sketchy for the Axis. A lot of angles for them to force up on the rotation. They've got the smoke down into the bottom cinema. They've focus more on the Broken Wall, and Duffer is coming with the first kill. Also on the doing what he can to get the kill. Out comes Router with the spray. Nearly misses that. Would have been a squeaky butt moment for sure. The last bullet pretty much finished him off. And now, oh no, 1-on-2 with 10 seconds. All they have to do is really play the time. Not to be completely defusing there. And there is another one to Imperio, who moved 10-6 in the lead.
Yeah, I don't know. It just feels kind of odd that Article 51 didn't really take advantage of the delay timing they created, right? I mean, when you're setnating mid, it just seems like you would go ahead and take that forward positioning over on the B side, whether that be pushing cinema or getting aggressive in broken building or just taking some space for yourself defensively. I mean, think about it. When they've succeeded, it's been because Blackout or something has been able to get early information B side and be able to call for rotates accordingly. That round, they just really were working with no information, and they, you know, had no space in the site. So just a different attempt by them to try something different, try a retake setup. It just didn't work. And now you do see them shift gears and focus back onto getting aggressive at B. You do have Blackout pushing cinema. Duffer also kind of giving them some cover. Even Otto's in heaven. Like, everyone's basically in cinema here for the Axis side.
Blackout with the first, alleviating some of the pressure over on the cinema side. Also a quick correction. It's actually 10-7. It was 8-4 in the first half, 3 rounds to the Axis. It's 10-7 the score. closer than I called just before. Blackout now going to be looking for a second to add to his break of the allies early on. Obviously down though to the hands of Cole. Just saw a glimmer, a glimpse, a shoulder pixel peek around the side of Broken House and open up the end. 46 health remains on Cold. But they know that Blackout has to come back after reloading. So they're able to get one. How is he still alive? How is he able to get a second kill? Taking Blackout. The equation Duff is able to open up the 2 Silver. It's gone horribly wrong. Imperio not able to get rid of Blackout, who came through with the first couple kills and survived the tail.
Man, really well done here. Again, it felt like a lot of that came down to the fact that you saw a little bit of a shift in focus. You know, this time they were taking control of Cinema. They had 3 players in there, 1 Heaven, 2 aggressively pushed up. Didn't give Imperio all that free room to work with to do some type of elaborate execute or to like feel comfortable with their positioning. So just that adjustment made the world of difference right there. And they will go ahead and work towards closing that gap. It is now 10-8, still in favor of Imperio though. As they are going to be making that cross mid. Again, a little bit late though, and this has allowed Blackout once more to get aggressive here inside Cinema with that SMG, and he has pushed the player back already, and Ano, who was also aggressive towards both the building, has gotten the opening kill. It's traded though.
Duff and Trigger quickly starting to wrap their way around 7 mid. Actually, Blackout needs to survive. Somehow, someway, gets the trade and has all of his health remaining. I have no idea how the hell that just happened. It looked to me like he was guaranteed to die. Now Spy left alive, not for much longer. And at some point, Imperio are going to have to maybe, if they want to push B, keep one player around mid or on the flank to stop Duffer and Trigger doing this. Every single round, they're pushing out second mid.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like the aggression now from RO51 is really starting to set in. They're starting to get a little bit of a rhythm going. They're not giving up space for free anymore. And they're doing really well. They're getting into the comfort zone. Like, you can really tell that Blackout's kind of thriving on being able to push lower Cinema. Even Ano getting aggressive in that round, getting an opening kill, in fact. This time Imperio may want to try something different. Something delayed at B for middle every round, like has been the case. Now they're actually trying to put a little bit more focus over towards alt mid and long A door. I do have one player who has pushed up tank, that's Spy, trying to keep an eye on middle here, but Socklin is he's not actively peeking mid, he's just kind of covering spawn. Now Duffer will take that up.
The thing is that while there's no sort of pressure on the B side, there's no reason for Trigger or Duffer to push around the back. The flank is always a straight up knee-jerk reaction to heavy aggression on B. And because now Imperio have been very passive in mid, it's going to allow Duffer and Trigger to just stay in position. That being said, Blackout goes walkies out of Cinema and will get punished. That's going to put a bit more pressure on Ono. Could draw Duffer from watching mid to go down into the double door instead on the B side. This is where the issue comes in. They're assuming this is an A hit, and a router's already got into position with his carbine, past the statue, and comes himself Duffer, who comes out ahead in the Gewehr. The battle of the defaults goes the way of the Axis. 30 seconds left, but now Imperio getting their way around tickets to the backside of B. This is all going to come down to Olo here. If he can get a kill onto the site, that's going to be enough. But actually, they're going to go back on the A side once more. Duffer is trying to jump. If he goes down, Sokol's going to get picked out from the back. And it's a real mess of a round. Both teams seemingly rotating around each other, but the bomb's going to get planted on the A site, and Ono in a 1-on-3.
Yeah, he's probably going to say this STG had to imagine, not even really attempt this. Really just came down to the fact that the aggression just became a little bit too much. You can see Blackout really wanted to be able to push all the way through into allied spawn and be able to, you know, let his team kind of safely rotate back over to the A side of the map and just have like a really stout defense in position for what they figured was, you know, an impeding A attack, right? Like, it almost seemed like that's definitely how things were going to go. But then Doan gets the pick on the Blackout. Now all of a sudden Ano is stuck in no man's land, having to just stay in Cinema, you know, fearing that B could still be a threat. And this allows Imperio with a man advantage to just kind of flex it. They were able to walk up middle, get into Axis spawn. You know, they're pushing alt mid as well. And it did get scrappy there for a second. It looked like maybe RO51 was still going to hold on, but eventually Imperio do get the better trades, get a huge man advantage, and they do inch a little bit closer now to victory as they're at 11. So just need 2 more rounds to win this and knock RO51 out of this tournament. But Arc 51 are still only just a couple of rounds behind, so it's still a tight game here.
Yeah, this is incredibly close. It's 11-9.
Yep.
So just 2 rounds in it. Back and forth throughout. Ono's having a really solid Axis side thus far. Spy gonna go into mid, just make sure he's holding the position, but the delayed nade to the backside of Broken is gonna claim the life of Doam. Important pick. You can see that Imperio, though, are definitely respecting these rotations from second mid. They're actually putting 2 players there. We saw a similar setup in the last round. And as you've called, Blackout, no reason for him to push, especially as they've got the first kill. Just stay in position, and this should go the way of Article 51.
Yeah, it's one of those things where they want to still contain, you know, lower cinema and deny that space to their opponent, but there's no need, like you said, to overextend and push out. They have the man advantage. They can just kind of keep Trigger where he is, keep Socken watching spawn, making sure they can attack in the middle. He can get the early information if they are, and that can cause another rotation if they need it. As Imperio are definitely going to be shifting over to A. Trigger's about to see a lot of action up here, but he's got a shotgun up close. He's only able to get 1 kill, though, actually. This gives Imperio a little bit of a chance, but they're still fighting a player behind.
They are. And to make matters worse, Socklock in the graveyard and Duffer is round from the spawn side. Ollie's also moving into position, so Router is back here. Duffer is going to get traded out. As well. Onoka trying to trade through the box. Not going to be able to get the kill this time, but Router, who felt the pressure to move out of position, is now down. Spy comes through with 2. Blackout will not allow the triple. So another scrappy back and forth round. This time, though, Article 51 will pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, everything was just going their way the whole round through. I mean, they got the early pick. They were up a man. Then you had Socklin, who was hiding in graveyard that round around a smoke, able to get basically a free kill with the Luger. And so it was looking like it was, you know, definitely Arc 51s, but as you said, it got a little bit scrappy, but in the end still does go their way thanks to Blackout. And so now it is 11-10. So very, very close game on our hands here in the round of 16, our first game on broadcast of the day. Again, we'll be bringing you the rest of the playoffs after this. A couple of more best of 1s for quarters and semis, and of course the grand finals will be a best of 3. And whew, looking like Arc 51 want to tie this thing up quickly. Some very fast opening kills. Quick 5-on-3.
Spy, the only player to retaliate so far onto Ono, but the rest of it's been one-way traffic, and the Axis cruising down the highway. Trigger, once again, taking his opportunity to get round the back of the allies. You are split up for the time being. Back out in a duel to the death with Doam, and will get the upper hand in that confrontation. Spy now scratching his head, wondering if there's anything he can feasibly do. Getting some cards for his team would be a nice bonus, but in a 1-on-4, no real idea where he is. Just found out with bullets in his chest. That trigger's behind him, but yeah, it is going to be all tied up now.
Yeah, you got to think that a lot of that really came down to the fact that they got those early kills so easily. I mean, they got the pick with the scope and the set nade kill, so instant 5-on-3. Then you saw another quick trade, which basically put them in a 4-on-2. At that point, it's just a little bit overwhelming, a little bit hard to come back when you're already suffering so many casualties before you've really even gotten the round started. So as we're all square, we'll see who was able to roll out to match point first in this round. Smoke up again, stopping Socklin from being able to get much going with the scope, as Imperio definitely want to put that focus over on the A side. They already have a kill on the Blackout with the nade.
Oh, this is huge though. They've got the nade onto Blackout, but they've actually all pushed on the A side. The question is, how much can Trigger do? Well, 1 kill really, considering there's 4 players breathing down his neck, is not bad at all. It's also information that's gathered. So now the Axis can all move their way around. Buffer needs to get the kill, and a second one as well. And Breeder should be certainly covering this guy. He'll whip out his pistol, not able to get a third, but could very well have secured the round in that frenzy of frags. But Router, who was the guy on the site that got killed, is going to be probably raging at his teammates, wondering why the hell no one had his site covered. Ono for the final 2, and Article 51 for the first time, maybe since the very first round, I believe, now in the lead.
Yeah, they were up 1-0, and then it really went downhill from there up until now. I mean, they've fought to keep it close a lot of the way, but now they actually do have it. So.
Quality crash again.
Yep, gotta love it. Getting right back in, though. We'll see. I don't know if the players are having it happen or if it's just us. Last time it only happened to us and the players were fine, so...
Yeah, which I'm fine with, because it means we don't have to restart the server or any of that sort of stuff. Obviously, it's frustrating, because it means we probably missed the round. As soon as they're still in, we'll have to switch to spec quick.
Yep, we are in here. Okay. Not sure if our producer is, but we'll be bringing you a radio cast until then, as we are seeing Imperio making a very quick attack on to the A-bomb site here. It's still a 5-on-5. Imperio looking to just try to swarm the church from multiple angles. There are 3 defenders here, though, already for 1. The trigger is going to work. It is quickly treated, though, and the bomb will be making its way in.
Cold's going to be trying to spray down Buffer, not allowing him to escape, and it's actually going to be 50 that takes him out the equation. 3-on-3. Once again, seems the allies are set on A. Only gone B one time in that direction, but he's not necessarily a full-on hit through mid. Which is definitely, I'd say, against the grain, you still prefer B on this side. Blackout, though, going to spray him close to kill. The allies counteract with Cold onto Blackout, but he's going to be dropped down to 5 health. Ono, spamming up through the box, going to make sure that no one's on the site looking to get a quick plant into fruition. 30 seconds left. And Ono joined by Socklon, who has a sniper rifle just to his right-hand side. Now they're going to hear the bomb getting tickled out. Cold goes for the fake, takes a bullet through the box for his troubles, and scampers away. 15 seconds now. They have to look to move, and they think the best way of breaking through is hyper-aggression. Cold comes through with the first, but that was 8 seconds. If Ono can get 1 kill, that could be enough. 50 trying to hold his teammate's side, but he's going to go down. Ono's not going to be able to stop the bomb plan, but could he stop Cold's life? The question and the answer has been given, and it's a resounding no. Solid clutch by Cold, and I think I'll be very disappointed he clutched that in the end.
Indeed, now we are going to be playing overtime to figure things out, thanks to that. This game will keep on giving, and so overtime rule set is MR3, so it's a race to 4 rounds. 3 rounds per half. Duffer, very excited about playing overtime from the chat.
Well, I mean, if you remember, Dust, he was involved in that crazy overtime that we cast in the last Blitzkrieg battle with Article 51. So he's going to have a bit of trauma right now. He's like, oh, God, not again,
not
please,
like this.
No.
Yeah, that time it was the quarterfinals matchup on Coastal against the Albino Cats in a snowstorm, the Assy Ass.
Love it. Are they in this
no,
game?
Unfortunately not. I saw Davey playing, but I'm not sure if he was playing in this tournament, like ringing for someone, or he was just playing to play for fun. But yeah, I do not believe they're signed up for this one, which is unfortunate because they looked really strong in the last tournament, and they weren't able to play the first one either. Wound up losing, I think, to Penta in the semifinals last tournament?
Yes.
On this map, actually, Derailed. So,
yep.
There you go. So, it'll take us just a second to get the overtime rolling, and then we'll be bringing it to you.
Yeah, I've got to say, I'm pretty surprised that Imperial were able to take us into overtime here, because I thought 4 rounds would be enough, and the way that Article 51 started on their Axis side as well was incredibly dominant. I think they won sort of 4 out of the first 5 rounds. So I'm thinking, okay, here we go, this is it. But to be fair, Imperial came through with a lot of A hits. I was surprised they hit A as often as they did, because a lot of teams, I said this before, but a lot of teams on the Allied side actually probably favor B. Or at least if they can get past those nades, they're looking to push on B whenever they can, take Cinema control. Imperial basically were giving Cinema up time and time again, and just taking control of mid and second mid. So maybe that's something that's going to be in the back of the heads of Article 51 as we now move into overtime, where cards are no longer an issue. It should be mentioned it's unlimited cards, so you can take as many as you want. If you want to go with full sniper rifles, you could.
Yeah, it's definitely cool to just kind of have max cards, just let people kind of throw everything they have at each other. All that good stuff. Not having to worry about economy. Get to put that aside and just focus on fragging out.
For sure. Now the question is, with this sort of unlimited cards, do we see a lot of the Axis players play with the STG that's been buffed now? Because you get that nade, you can maybe dip in for a smoke on top of that. Very powerful gun.
Yep. STG has definitely gotten to a stronger point. It's got that one-tap headshot now. Also, just in general, a little bit more powerful. Same thing happened to the bar. The bar always had a one-shot headshot, but now apparently it got buffed a little bit better for body shots as well. It still feels a little off.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm not sure what it is, though. I don't know if it's damage or if it's more of just how it feels when you ADS with it and when you move around with it. It still feels kind of clunky compared to the STG.
I think, for me, and I'm just basing this off feeling, it could be a placebo effect, but I feel like it does less damage than the STG to body and arms, and it has 10 less bullets. So I think when you combine the two, for me, that's one of the main reasons why I'll always prefer the STG over the bar in the current state.
Yeah, it's like the one thing the bar had over the STG was the one-shot headshot, but now the STG has that too. So it's just like, all right, well, I'm running out of reasons why I would prefer the bar over the STG. Obviously, you don't get a choice; it's side-specific on which gun you get to use. But when they're going head-to-head against each other, I feel like the STG just now, because it also has a one-shot headshot, just like beats the bar in every single way.
Yeah, I mean, but the thing is that Duff has been using the bar a lot, and you can see him with it right now. He's been very good with it on the Allied side. So it's purely personal preference, but I think the 10 bullets that it loses out on the STG is a bit of an issue. That being said, though, with an STG as a defensive weapon, you're typically going to spray a lot more with that than you are the bar. I think the bar needs to be used in a much more precise manner than the STG does. But of course, with the STG, you can land some crazy one-taps. Like, who was it? Was it Jay Money last week that landed the most disgusting STG one-tap here, actually, on Derailed?
Yeah, it's at the tram. He was like playing front church and just one-tapped the guy that was peeking tram.
Right.
That was definitely one of the highlight moments of the last tournament. And it looks like we will be able to get this OT going live here real soon. Looks like it is actually going live right now. Great. That's what we need. Get in the game. Again, just to remind you, it is a race to 4 rounds. MR3. So.
Yep, MR3. Plenty of cards. Nades replenished once again. So all systems go. And it will be, as you can see, Imperio now on the Axis side. They have switched. Both teams struggled on their Allied side, so Allied side rounds are going to be very, very important and valuable. That should be mentioned. But Trick is going to go down first. They will counteract with a nade of their own, though. Spy on the receiving end of Blackout's nade.
Ooh. Really good move here from Socklin, just picking up on that aggression from Imperio at upper. In the meantime, Duffer and Blackout have control of the site, but they tried to force the bomb plant, and they get punished for it. Imperio popping off right now. Just Blackout left.
A huge passage of play by Routes at the top of Cinema with his Gewehr. 2 kills go his way. Blackout, though, is going to show that he's not out this round just yet, but things are certainly mounting against him. Bombs out on B site towards Broken Wall. Or Broken House, pardon me, and then you've got 2 players at top of Cinema, one of which is going to be in heaven. And to make matters worse, 50 is still perched. I'm not entirely sure why 50 is back in this position. Like, maybe he thinks that Blackout, after getting the kill on ticket booth, was going to rotate back round as he had enough time, but it didn't matter anyway. Ultimately, they got the round.
I'm actually really surprised Arca 51 tried to force the bomb plant there. Like, Sokla knew that they had pushed heaven into upper Cinema, didn't actually get the kill, and they were able to fall back, and they just tried to plant anyway, knowing that they were going to be falling back to heaven, and just got shot for free, basically, trying to plant. So that seemed like a weird miscommunication. That or they thought they were going to have cover from heaven by planting in a different spot, and they didn't wind up having the cover they thought they had. I'm not really sure what happened there, but it seemed like a little bit of a fumble. And now the set nade rings out. 2 kills already here for Imperio.
Seems like Arca 51 maybe just getting a little bit too impatient. Trying to beat that nade has cost them dearly. Already 2 players down. And it's their 2 aggressive SMG players, Duffer and Blackout, that have gone down. So that's going to make matters a little bit worse. Oh, Sokol could just hear the feet as they smacked against the staircase. I wasn't sure if he got stuck for a second there, but he's alright. Trigger, not like this. That should be a kill to Doam. He had everything going his way, but Doam still somehow, with his car scope, connects the shot and regens to 100. And this is what we talked about before. The allied rounds are going to be so valuable. This is looking like it's going to be a 2-0 start.
Yeah, what can they really do? Just Ano and Socklin left. Socklin trying to see if he can't find a pick with the scope to give him something to work with, some hope, something. But no. Roundup takes him out very quickly, and now Ano is just left very lonely. Like a single man on Valentine's Day.
Right to the fields.
Yeah.
Man, it has been a lot of clutches so far, Ono. And this time, yeah, that's always going to be the issue. You can play as many as you want in double doors arches when you have this many players left alive, and just really Ono had no chance. But 2-0, if Article 51 can pick up this round, there's still a bit of hope. There's, I still believe.
Yep, this is the last chance to try to get something going on their offense, and they need, you feel, at least one. Get themselves a decent chance at surviving this overtime. Looks like they are going to shift that focus over towards the A side of the map this time, just Trigger kind of lurking around the courtyard, but everyone else is pushing up alt mid or long doorway, trying to control that tank area. 50 was spotting it, will back off as he feels the pressure. Doam also falling out to Grave, and look at this mass rotation. They'll get all 5 here pretty quickly to try to defend against this, and Doam, he's got that opening pick.
Yeah, that's massive. Plus, Spy's also got himself one as well, and even though Ono comes back with a frag, it may not be enough. They've got 2 smokes put down, but they're going to start to disappear. And Cold appears at the bottom of the steps of Spawn side. It's gone horribly wrong. Oh no, another clutch. This time the one's planted for him, so he knows they have to come to him, and he will make a last stand, much like Leonidas. Looking to take as many down as possible before he falls, but it's only going to be 1. And that's going to be a clean sweep on the first half of overtime to Imperio, who are in great shape. Just 1 out of the next 3 rounds goes their way. They knock Article 51 out, and with the lack of top teams present in this event, Article 51 means surely this was their event to win.
Yeah, again, like some of the big teams that usually give them trouble, like Albino Cats, Penta, etc., aren't even in this event. Yeah, there's some mixed teams out there that are a little bit scary, like the 8D team that has Cinda and Replin, and certainly the Bang has been a team that's consistently had deep runs. They've made the finals of both these tournaments, so it's not as if the field was completely barren of talent, but yeah, you would think that this would be a team that should be at least a shoe-in for playoffs, and now they maybe find themselves exiting out in the round of 16 just before the quarterfinals.
Not out of this just yet. It is possible they can string together 3 rounds. Now on the Axis side, Spy gets spotted, but Ono perched up on the fire escape, unable to finish what he starts. Loads of smokes left though on the side of the Axis, but very much the same could be said for the allies. Router has already dispensed of both of his nades. Actually came through into this round with a carbine, which is somewhat surprising considering that there's so many cards available. Confrontation on second mid. We'll not see any bloodshed just yet. So 55 seconds remain. One of the first rounds we've seen where a nade hasn't claimed in early life.
Yeah,
Deadlock is still yet to be lifted.
I think we've only had like one 5v5 bomb plant the whole game. And this one's not going to be the case, though. Imperio is going to get that entry over here onto Church. This could be the beginning of the end for the men over at Article 51, unless they're able to do some type of retake with their 4 remaining members. Blackout still has to worry about B being an option, though. In the meanwhile, Spies pushed middle and caught Ono and Spawn. So this is looking very grim right now for Article 51. Really good for Imperio as they just keep racking up the kills. Very impressive stuff here.
Looking like the beginning of the end. Article 51 beginning to circle the drain, and Spy will get rid of them. Imperio have done it. They were behind. It was looking like maybe that Article 51 were able to beat them just to the finish line, but Article 51 have been knocked out in the round of 16.
Indeed, so that is going to be it for the round of 16 here on stream. We'll be moving on to the quarterfinals in just a moment. We still got to wait for some of these matchups to finish that are currently going on in the round of 16. Once we get there, we will go ahead and get you to the round of 8 very shortly. Until then, we'll be taking a quick break. But again, while you're taking that break, please do go ahead and give this channel a follow, because this is a weekly tournament series, and so we do these every Saturday. So be sure to hit that follow button to catch the next Blitzkrieg battle this next weekend, as well as the rest of the one we're doing today, as well as there's going to be an NA expansion at some point soon. There'll be a Sunday tournament for in the NA scene, so definitely want to keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, again, give myself and Vince a follow if you don't mind on Fire Vince. Follow Dust on Twitter, and we'll see you in just a little bit for the round of 8, so stay tuned.